This is a very exciting video because I've always known that I wanted to be a mom. The purpose of Cheyenne's page is to bring to light this awkward stage that no one really talks about, the desire to have children, but either not being in the position to, financially, environmentally. Also, in this period that you're choosing to wait, not knowing if you're gonna have a hard time conceiving, that is where I'm at. The purpose of 2025 isn't to get pregnant, sadly. It is to prepare myself for becoming a mom. There's just a few things that my husband and I have decided as a couple need to improve before we try to bring a little one into the mix. And if you can relate to any or all of that, you are going to love this channel, because I really just want it to be a community of people that have this strong desire, and for one reason or another it's just not happening. And instead of being sad, life as usual, using this time to our advantage so that whenever we do, God willing, get pregnant, we're in a little bit better position than we were in the waiting period. So if you relate to any of that, welcome. That out of the way, let me get to introductions. Relax. This is a relaxing zone. She's just out of frame. My name is Cheyenne. I am 26 years old and I just got married to my husband Garrett in March of 2024. Garrett and I have been together since 2017. Like I mentioned earlier, this year I am diving into the Betterment Project. Within the Betterment Project, I have my goals by 8 separate categories. In this video, I'm going to introduce the category, share my goals for it, and explain specific steps or routines I'm taking to achieve those. So let's start with number 1, which is wellness. Actually, before I get into wellness, let me just say some of these are subject to change. I have 5 books that I want to read this year. Those books might influence my goals. These are just what they are in January of 25. Okay, so number 1, wellness. Very, very, very basic stuff that I'm embarrassed to even say that I don't have established yet. Number 1, a primary care provider. It's because I want to get a baseline of where I'm at, check out some stuff that I have questions about. Number 2 is establishing a gynecologist. I did get a checkup last year, but I didn't really like my gyno. I've been having continued pelvic pain, so I really want to establish a relationship with one who isn't just going to tell me to get on birth control, like someone who actually wants to get at the root of what's going on. I have cramps and leg pain, my period, ovulation pain leading up to ovulation. I also have them, and this is TMI. If you are a family member, please get out. I also have them post-orgasm. So last year at my gyno, I was diagnosed with a uterine fibroid. So I think that that is what is continuing to cause me pain, but she said that I would just have to get on birth control to alleviate it, which is the standard, of course, but I just don't want to do that this close to trying to have a baby after not being on birth control since 2017. So that is goal number 2, and it's inclusive of goal number 3, which is to get a treatment plan for my pelvic pain. Moving on to category number 2, health. Goal number 1 is to stick to the Culture of Motion training plan for 6 months, working out 4 days a week. This is the hardest program I have ever done in my entire life. Did I know that whenever I signed up for it? No. I asked my hot athletic friend what she thought of it. She was like, it's not too bad. No. Note to self, don't ask your hot athletic friend what she thinks of a training plan when you are not. Goal number 2, walk 10,000 steps a day, no exceptions, 6 days a week. There's a lot of research out there of why walking is so good for you, and I just in general need to get in more steps a day. Hopefully with the puppy now, it will be a lot easier. Before I was averaging literally, I'm so embarrassed to even say this, but like probably less than 2K. No, I'm not joking. Goal number 3, consume 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, tracking in MyFitnessPal daily. On the topic of eating, I want to cycle sync my meal plan. This is 1, do what's better for me in the certain phases of my cycle. But 2, it's really to get more variation in my diet. I am someone who eats the same thing for months at a time. So that is all 4 goals for health. Let's move into habits. Habit number 1 is keep waking up at 5 a.m. for workout days. This is something that I implemented back in August or September of 2024, knowing that we were going to get a puppy. I wanted to be sure that I could get my workout in while Garrett was still here. Goal number 2 is read 1 chapter of a book per day. 5 books that were recommended on TikTok about like pregnancy and fertility that I want to read in 2025. So while I go through them, I'll kind of share my thoughts on each one. Okay, and then habit goal number 3 is to drink 1 liter of water. Honestly, I don't have to be like, I don't drink water. You can tell. My skin is dry. I am so slow mentally. I just have so much brain fog. Do you need help? I need to drink more water, and 1 liter is like the very least that I can do. Moving on to finance, and I'm sorry if you can hear her chewing. Finance. I have 2 goals here because finances kind of freak me out, and I plan to reassess midway through the year to see if there's anything that we need to be adding on. Goal number 1 is to save $8,000 for mat leave. This is only this year, by the way. If this doesn't count the time that I am going to be pregnant and saving. Number 2, establish a project pipeline with $75,000 worth of design piece for 2026. I have my own interior design business, and something that is really stressing me out is I can't say that it would be a lot simpler for us to get pregnant if I didn't have my own business, but working for myself, I'm in charge of mat leave, and whenever I come back from mat leave, having work ready for me. And I think that is the scary part. I can take however long I need to save up for mat leave, but if I don't have something lined up for after, I don't like the question mark there. It's a little bit too muddy for me. I'll do a deep dive on the finance part. That'll be in a future video though. So next category is spiritual. I'm trying to explain this to Garrett. I think as we grow up, we take on more and more responsibility. That parental guidance, if you're lucky enough to have both of your parents here, is still there, but it obviously becomes less and less, and you want to stop relying on them so much. But that gap in guidance doesn't shrink, it just kind of leaves a hole. But I find myself really searching for and yearning for a parental figure like that. Last year I really started praying more, talking to God, just being a lot more grateful for everything and expressing that gratitude. And so I just want to continue with that this year. So goal number 1 is to make a gratitude list every morning and night. Complete my Christmas devotional by April 2025. No, just developing that relationship before I start the trying to conceive journey. It's going to be a really happy time, but it's also going to be a lot of changes. And I know that I'm going to put a lot of trust in God to guide us to make the right decisions and all of that stuff. So the third to last category is environment. The biggest one is to move into a 3-bedroom house or townhouse by the end of the year. Currently in a 1-bedroom, which we know that we don't need an extra bedroom for the first little bit while the baby is tiny, but during pregnancy and postpartum, have extra rooms in the house. That way our moms can come and help us, because I know it's going to be full on. We are so lucky to have people that want to help us. So I want to have space for them. Doing that by the end of the year will make us both feel better about where we're at. The third goal is to declutter each area of our home by June 1st. This is obviously in preparation for the move. Okay, the second to last category is self-improvement. These are just kind of like fun ones. Number 1 is to limit chocolate chip consumption to 1 snack per day. I grew up in an ingredient household, so going into the pantry, getting a tortilla chip, a handful of raisins, chocolate chips, those are my habits, and I need to stop.
I just need to stop.
Although, Garrett did just send me a study. These guys ate dark chocolate, 50 grams of dark chocolate daily. For reference, a normal size Hershey bar is 41 grams. They had reduced arterial stiffness. Exercise time to exhaustion increased by 2%. So, do I really need to achieve that goal? I'm not so sure, because I only do
eat dark chocolate chips, but
nonetheless, we'll still stick to it, because if there was like a toll booth camera every single time I went to the pantry, I would have thousands of dollars in tolls. Number 2 is to tan once a week. This is just a maintenance thing. It's something that makes me feel better, and I know will help me show up better in my day-to-day life. So not on here, which I need to add. I need to expand my wardrobe this year. Tanning once a week and improving my wardrobe are both for showing up in my life as the person that I want to be, and that person is tan, smells good, looks good. And the last goal on here is to do my laser hair removal session once per week, because I am prepping for birth. If I'm gonna poop during labor, I at least want to look pristine, and that's that. I have an at-home device from Rose Skin Co, as I do have a fear of just saying goodbye to my lips for the last 3 months of my pregnancy.
is it more than that? Don't tell me.
Yeah, just like not being able to see it and help it terrifies me. So anyway, those are in my self-improvement category. And the last one is time. Goal number 1 is to plan out my weeks on Sunday. Number 2 is to quit multitasking. I multitask and think that I am doing something good for me, and I'm not. So that concludes all of the categories, and starting the Betterment Project feels like, instead of this being a sad time in my life that I'm not pregnant, I don't have my shit together, I'm turning it into, let's make the most of this time, get that much better for the baby that we're gonna have. That's kind of the gist of the Betterment Project. In the comments, if you can put who you are and where you're at in your journey, whether you are in motherhood, trying to conceive phase, if you are in the pre-pregnancy phase like me, and any goals that you have or that you had in the pre-pregnancy phase, so that we can all start building this community together. Of course, if you love this content and you don't want to miss the follow-up videos, you want to subscribe. I'm already filming my next video, which is a week in my life implementing these habits, and letting you know where I'm at with each.